Hey. All right, let me switch on my camera. Yay. Hey everyone. Oh, we have heaps of people from the US today. LA, Detroit, South Africa, Mexico, Colorado, Santa Barbara, India, California. Hey guys, Paraguay. Yeah, I thought we would try a different stream time today because I've been streaming at night in Australia. But yeah, so I figured we should do like a daytime stream. I have to post on Twitter and on Instagram. Atlanta, Sunshine Coast, Denmark, Illinois, New York, Oregon, Philippines, Texas, North Carolina, Indonesia, Ohio. I saw Anaheim and then it disappeared. Puerto Rico. Right now it's 2 p.m. in Sydney, Australia. Ooh, Myanmar, Brizzy, Canada, Thailand, Germany. It's so awesome. You guys are from all over the place. I feel like the nighttime streams that I do in Australia is more for like the Europeans. So then I guess the daytime streams is more for like the US. All right, so if you guys haven't been to a live stream, basically what we do is in the chat, if you see your photo up in Lightroom, just yell out what number, well, type out what number it is here in the thumbnails. Excuse me. Sorry, it's been really cold and windy all of a sudden. We've had like that autumn cold snap, so I feel like I've got allergies and stuff today. Oh, we've got Dan, who's our moderator for the chat. So I'm going to scroll through all the thumbnails. I feel like it's easier to see the numbers down here in the bottom. So just keep an eye out for your number. And while we do this, I want to tell you guys some really exciting news. So we just submitted the digital film photo editing app for mobile to the Android store, which is so exciting. So because of everything that's going on in the world right now, it's going to take a little bit longer than usual for it to be approved and to be reviewed and stuff. But the digital film app is coming to Android really, really soon. And it is out on iOS, so if you guys haven't used it yet, you can download it for free. It's so annoying how the numbers like disappear. That had to be a joke, by the way. What, the app? I'm like dead serious. We've been working really hard on it. It's just like a two-man team. It's like me and my cousin who's the developer. So it's taken us a while, but we really put a lot of love and care into it, and we want the launch for the Android version to be as smooth as possible. Sorry. So hopefully, yeah, it goes all well. Julia, you're the best. Also, may I please have a shout out? I would love that. Shout out to Nilesh Patel. Also, I'm very sorry when I'm pronouncing names. I usually pronounce them really, really wrong, so I'm very, very sorry. The app is called Digital Film. Yeah, you guys submitted a lot of photos today. If you don't see your photo here, it could have been because you didn't give me an Instagram or a name or a website or something where I could credit you. It may have errored out. Sometimes the Dropbox links and the Google Drive links don't work for some reason. Or you may have submitted it after I cut off the downloads, because it takes me a while to download these photos. I think it took me like an hour and a half to download all the submissions from today. Okay, we're almost there and then we'll start editing. Julia, it's my birthday in Australia, but not yet here in the US. Well, happy birthday, West Coast Vivi. You get to have a double birthday this time because you've joined the Australian live stream. How do you spend your time these days? Editing photos whole day? Yeah, well, I have a lot of extra time on my hands because we're not out doing photo shoots and we don't have any weddings anymore for the next few months. So we've been doing a lot of live streaming. I think this week we've done three live streams, I think. And then I posted 2 videos, one on Sunday, one on Monday. So we've definitely been keeping ourselves busy. Okay. I'm going to go for number 12. Ooh, that's pretty. So this photo, I'll bring up the info for the photos as well. And I've renamed all the submissions to your Instagram handle or your name or however you asked me to credit you. So if you like the person's photo, then go check them out on Instagram. This photo is by Ashley Nadine Photos. Dan, can you type the name of my app in the chat, please? Today is Tuesday in Sydney. Okay, what are we going to do to this? I want to start by balancing out the image a little bit. I want to bring down those highlights. Thank you, Sebastian. Moderator's not doing his work. Oh, there he goes. Thanks, Dan. I missed my number. My stream stopped for a second. Oh, I'm sorry. We normally end up jumping around quite a lot, so you'll probably see it. I'll also make this smaller so more photos fit down the bottom here too. And get rid of that little toolbar. Thanks so much for choosing it first, Jules. You're welcome. It's a really cool photo. I love sunflowers. Once, I think it was a few years ago, Dan and I planted like hundreds of sunflower seeds in our backyard. It was super fun. And we ended up doing like a little photo shoot in our backyard before it was like a mandatory thing to do photo shoots at home. Have you guys been still trying to take photos and stuff while you're in self-isolation? You should collab with Hayden. Your styles are so different. It would be awesome. I would love to collab with people. I feel like I say that really weird. Collab. I love sunflowers too. Yeah, they're so pretty. Okay, I really want to make this warm. And then save the skin tones a little bit. I'm going to add some blue back into the image. Would love to see this video, but I got to go to bed. It's 10 p.m. Got to go to work at 6:30 a.m. Oh, well, thank you for joining, Katie. This will be up later on once we finish. Oh, I feel like a ready highlights will look cool. And I want to go for a cooler color in the shadows with the split toning. Love your and Dan's photos. Always great work. Thank you. Edit mine, please. I was in the last 2 live streams. Okay, what's your number, Adrian? I will definitely be working on taking some self-portraits soon. Thanks for the inspo. Love your work. Yeah, so self-portraiture was the first thing I ever photographed when I started photography. And I haven't done it in a really, really long time. So it was super strange getting to do it again for that video that I uploaded on Sunday. But it was really fun. I feel like I learned a lot in my first couple of years doing photography self-portraits. I learned like all about lighting and posing and like locations and what outfits worked with locations, and like it just taught me so much. So if you've never tried it before, I definitely recommend it. I feel like maybe we need more reds in the shadows. Also, I kind of want to darken the greens actually. I feel like also if we zoom in, I might do the iris enhance thingy with the adjustment brush. I feel like because she's got really nice blue eyes, I kind of want them to stand out a little bit more. See if that works. It's probably too much exposure. Yeah, okay. So here's my final before and after. This photo is by Ashley Nadine Photos on Instagram. This is the before original and this is the after with my edits. 187, please. But yeah, I used to take self-portraits and I also used to take photos of my sister. Oh, this one's really cute. This photo is by Pilis_captures on Instagram. Pilis or Pilis? I don't know how to pronounce things. Okay, first thing I want to do is kind of balance out the lighting of the image because it's quite bright at the top and then really dark in like the bottom half of the photo. So I might do that with shadows a little bit. Also, this is such a beautiful location. Like that, and then I might use a graduated filter and kind of bring up the brightness of this bottom half even more. Yeah, and maybe some contrast. You should make a video of you editing subscribers' photos with your presets. That would be really fun. Is that something you guys would like to see? Also, we were talking in one of the nighttime live streams that you guys might be interested in doing a live stream where I could critique your portfolios or your Instagram accounts. So I feel like that might also be fun as well. I might give this really matte black because I feel like it really suits this photo. Critique live stream sounds nice. Yeah, I feel like we don't need the blue curve for this one. I think I want to warm it up, the image overall, a little bit. Just so we have like that golden hour sunset vibe, which I really like. And for the highlights, I think a nice, like a deep blue or a purpley color will look cool. And then the shadows, again, to bring out like that golden hour, I'm gonna go for a nice yellow. In that case, I might bring the white balance down because we've got the split toning, which is giving us that nice kind of golden hour. I wonder if maybe like a light leak or something would look cool. I always send my photos after the time frame, but I'm here to support you work anyway. Oh, sorry, Joel. Yeah, I would download to the last minute, but it takes a while to download the submissions sometimes. Ooh, that's pretty. I feel like it's giving that like a foggy effect. Okay, I'm happy with this. This photo is by Pillis_captures on Instagram. Here is the before and here is my edit. This is a gorgeous photo. I love it. Would you be able to do number 2, please? Yes. Whoops. Ooh, I like this one. Okay, this photo is by Alana Jolie Photography on Instagram. And this is a JPEG, but we should still be able to edit it. Edit it. Might sharpen a little bit. Greetings from CA. I assume that's California. Thank you for changing the stream time. I'm happy to join this time. Would love to see your edit on 110. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I want to go with like quite a dark look for this photo. I like you know, dark moody portraits. It's like my thing. And I do want to pop out those highlights a little bit more as well, just because I love that transition of light from her face from light to dark. I think looks really cool. And then might bump up the shadows a little bit and then bring down the blacks for some extra contrast. Okay, and then saturation, I kind of feel like I want, maybe I want to change the background to be a little bit warmer. So I might change the hue of green and yellows to be a little more in like the reds. It always amazes me how great all the pictures are. I know. I get really excited when I'm downloading them and I'm like, oh, I hope I get to edit this one. I feel like sometimes the red luminance slider is really cool to use depending how much you want to make lips stand out in a portrait. I feel like in this one I kind of want to bring the luminance up because you've got a really nice highlight in the bottom lip. Okay, and then highlights I'm going to go for yellow. I think my favorite split toning combination is yellow highlights and blue shadows. That's just like what I do every time. And then I think I'm going to go for like a greeny, almost orange shadows. I think will look cool. Yes. And then I'm also going to do another graduated filter here in the top corner. And I'm going to do a similar thing that we did before. I like to bring down dehaze to make backgrounds look a little bit more foggy. So I use it in like the opposite way that you're supposed to. And then I feel like a subtle, I think this yellow here looks really nice. Yes, I like that. Okay, so this photo is by Alana Jolie Photography on Instagram. This is the original and this is the final edit. Okay, next one was 110. Ooh, this photo is stunning. This is one that I got really excited about when I downloaded it. Whew. Okay, I'm going to do Pat's photo 181 next up. This photo is by zmendes.com. So I guess that's your website rather than your Instagram. So I'm going to start by bringing down the highlights to just kind of even that out. Maybe bumping up the shadows a little bit and bringing down the blacks. This is like the coolest composition. Did you climb a tree to get this photo, or did you bring like a ladder or something? Or maybe you're like really, really tall. Nothing to do with photos, but how's Animal Crossing going? Would you recommend? I absolutely love Animal Crossing. Just ask Dan. I've been talking about it like every day. And he's like, what's a nook? But it's been so, so good. I'm really, really tempted to get the online account though, just because you can't get all the fruits available and all the flowers, I think, too, if you just play by yourself, which I feel like is the only downfall. I don't like games that like kind of force you to buy extra stuff. But aside from that, I've been enjoying it like a lot. It's been really good because then I get to do something fun like at night and in the morning too. It's always exciting when you've got a new building getting built and you're like, I can't wait to see it tomorrow. Okay, I want to go for like a I feel like a golden but also almost desaturated look for this photo might be cool. And then I think I need to pull some greens out of the shadows too. So it'll add a little bit of red. And then I might also bring down the saturation and the vibrance too. And that'll start giving us like a little bit of a vintage feel. Aaron, yeah, we're just when you see your photo, just down here you've got a number next to the thumbnail. Just shout it out in the chat. Okay, so I'm not sure if I want to make the leaves really saturated or not. I feel like, yeah, actually having the leaves around the edges be bright and vibrant look really nice because then the background is almost quite desaturated. Okay, what should we do for this? Ooh, okay, let's do a deep blue for the highlights. And I might keep that up quite high because it looks really nice. And then I'm going to do a warm color for the shadows. Again, because I don't want to get rid of like that vintage vibe that we've been working towards a little bit. I think there. And then saturation. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh, Zach, I wasn't in a tree. The tree branches were just low, so it was a perfect little alcove to pose them in. That's really awesome. Yeah, it's like I get really excited when I come across a location that's like perfect for a particular shot. This is amazing. I wonder if this would look cool with like a vignette. I used to, when I first started photography, love vignetting so much. I would like literally do this to all my photos because I thought it looked really cool. Okay, instead of a vignette, well, I've got a tiny vignette that I kept. I might try using a gradient filter, and I have to stop touching my face, sorry. And I want to bring down the shadows of the sides instead. Maybe not the blacks, maybe exposure, and I can bring up the contrast a bit too. Because I want the leaves to stand out, but I want the back to be a bit darker. And maybe down here, I will just bring down the highlights too. Just because there's like a really bright patch of ground there. Okay, I think I'm really happy with this. This photo is by zmendez.com. Here is the original and here is the after. I can't get over how beautiful this photo is. Thank you so much for sending it. Okay, next one we said is 181. Ooh, this photo is by pat.tenga on Instagram. Hi from Toronto, please do 267. It would mean the world to me. The photo was from a recent styled bridal shoot that I did. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, so this one, gonna save the highlights a little bit. What camera did you take this on? I feel like there's so much detail to be saved from the highlights. It's really good dynamic range. And then I'm gonna bring up the shadows so our subject kind of stands out a little bit more in the photo, and bring down the black slider as well, just to add that contrast that we lost in there. You inspired me to buy my first 35mm. I love it so far. Yay! I'm like slowly converting every photographer who watches my videos into a 35mm lover. It really is just a great focal length for almost everything. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the white balance up. Also, while I'm editing your photo, feel free to let us know more about the image in the chat. I love, learning more things about the photos that you guys send through. Okay, I feel like that's looking quite balanced. I think I might sharpen the image a little bit as well. It is sharp, but I always like to add a little bit of extra sharpening. I just love seeing like eyelashes and skin texture and hair texture and stuff pop in a photo. And I feel like sharpening really helps with that. I have like a hair dangling. My hair is getting so long, guys, but I can't go to the hairdresser. Do you have any pet peeves for photography? It's not really a pet peeve, but during like a wedding, for example, this is where it would happen the most. I don't like it, mostly because people always like kind of put themselves down when I ask to like take a photo of someone, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna break the camera, like I don't want a picture of myself. I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit like sad in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's like people should have more confidence in themselves. Okay, so I added like a really deep tone curve just because the bottom half of the image was looking like I saved the shadows too much. But we have lost some detail in the face, so I'm going to use an adjustment brush instead to bring that back. So I'm going to make it like almost as big as the model's face and make it nice and soft. I like using the shortcut square bracket to change the size of the brush, and then I hold down shift and use the square brackets to change the feather size. Okay, then I'm going to bring up the exposure. Hair ties on the wrists are the worst. Yeah, especially when the other thing that's the worst with hair ties is when the model's like, oh, I've got a hair tie, I'll take it off. And you're like, thank you. But then they've still got the imprint of the hair tie, which is like basically the same to try and get rid of. Okay, I feel like I need to erase on the chest there. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. I feel the same way, especially because I'm also a makeup artist and people, models, actors put themselves down all the time. Yeah, I know. I tend to do that too. I feel like it's just human nature to be hard on yourself, but I try to be like conscious of it and try not to do it too much. Yeah, and I'm going to bring up the white balance on her chest as well, just so it matches with her face. I'm also going to bring the orange hue slider down just to make her skin tone a little bit more pinkish. I think from the location, the green and the yellow is kind of reflecting on her face. And I'm also going to bring the orange luminance up again just to make her a bit brighter in the photo. What do you think about the clarity slider? I never use it. I feel like the only time I use that actually is with a adjustment brush or a gradient filter if I want to make a part of a photo less prominent. I usually especially use it for landscape photos if there's a lot of like, I don't know, tree branches or something, for example, in part of a frame, and they're all super sharp. So just to get rid of some attention from them, I would use the clarity slider but move it down so it makes them less sharp. But that's pretty much the only time I would use it personally. Ooh, pretty. I love it when I come across just like a good split tone combination. I think I need to bring down the saturation though. Okay, I added like a cyan to the highlights instead. Sorry. Do you ever use any loots on your photos? Not on my photos, but I do use them sometimes on my videos, but they're ones that Dan and I have created ourselves just to like, Kung, hi, bye. Okay, so here's the final before and after. This photo is by pat.tenga on Instagram. This is the original and this is the after. I hope you like it. What number was that? Okay, and then I also wrote down 267. Oh, nice. This photo is by Vanessa IP on Instagram. So this one has really nice, even, soft lighting, which I really like. I'm going to bring up the white balance a bit. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I feel bad. No, so when I downloaded the photos, I rename all the files with your Instagram or whatever you asked me, however you asked me to credit you. And then Lightroom automatically numbers them when I import them. Okay, I feel like this one, I don't want to do too big of a tone curve. I do want to keep it quite punchy still. Please, please, please do number 16. Oh, Dan, you were looking up bingo lingo the other day. Do we have one for number 16? We were laughing the other time. It feels like we're doing like photography bingo or something with all the numbers. But apparently bingo numbers only go up to 80 or something, or 90. I can't remember what you said, Dan. Okay, I'm going to add like a little bit of a blue highlight to this image with the curves. I'm also going to bring up the shadows ever so slightly just so we have a little bit more detail that we can see in her hair. I'm also going to sharpen. What do you think about portraits with the blue and cyan hues cranked up? I don't know. I guess we don't have many blues in this photo. It didn't work. Do you mean like the orange and teal, like the look with the blue primary hue slider pushed down? I guess I don't mind it. I think it depends on like why you're editing that photo like that, if that makes sense. Like even though I use the Lightroom presets that I create for my photos, I do try to pick presets that suit the style and the mood that I was after for that particular shoot. Like I'm not going to just apply it because it looks sick or whatever, you know? Okay, and then here, I don't want to edit this too much because I feel like it looks really nice with a natural edit. But I am going to bring down the green curve by like a pixel just to add some more reds to the shadows. And then I'm going to bump up the green tone in the whites and the highlights by a pixel, just to add a little bit more green to her skin tone. Hello, what's going on? I'm editing everyone's photos. Are you a fan of The Office? If so, the USA or British? I don't want you guys to hate me, but I actually haven't watched The Office that much before. I think I've watched a bit of the US one and it's pretty good. So I'm going to go for the US one. First time catching one of your edit live streams, and I have to say it is very informative. I've only recently learned the basics of photo editing and I'm finding it a bit difficult to learn. Yeah, I feel like the best way to learn is just to like drown yourself in like watching videos and reading tutorials and looking at before and afters and asking questions and just experimenting and stuff. And I feel like just editing your photos, you would like kind of just learn as you go along. So yeah, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen with time, especially if you put time into it. So here is the final before and after by Vanessa IP on Instagram. This is the original photo and this is the after. Try to go for like a natural kind of look. I like it. Next up we have number 16. Cool. This photo is by Chavian Freeman. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly, on Instagram. So what's with the crop? Okay, so I'm going to change the crop to 2:3 just so we have, no, I'm going to just reset the crop so we have like the full image. My photos number 258 would be my dream if you could edit my picture from my recent trip to Iceland. Cool, I will do that next. Okay, so let's balance out the lighting first in this photo. That's the first thing I always like to do in an image. So I'm going to bring down the highlights and the exposure. And then I'm also going to bring up the shadows a bit and bring down the blacks to add a bit of contrast. And bring up the contrast as well. Cool. Okay, I feel like we need a little bit more pink in the tint and maybe bring down the white balance slightly too. And I'm going to add like a medium S curve. I'm going to try and crush the whites a little as well, just by pulling them down. Whoopsie. Pulling them down the edge of the frame. Do you guys feel like, I feel like the Lightroom tone curve is, it either doesn't move enough or it moves way too much when you click it, and it drives me insane sometimes. Sometimes I edit my photos in Camera Raw with Photoshop and Adobe Bridge just because of the tone curve in Lightroom annoys me sometimes. Teach us your ways, Julia. Your photo edits are amazing. Thank you. I'm teaching you right now. As I sit here removing stray hairs from a photo, what is your least favorite thing to retouch? For me, it would be tan lines. I hate doing tan lines. But yeah, stray hairs are annoying as well. And someone mentioned earlier hair ties on the wrist. And also indents from hair ties that were on a wrist. I feel like strands of hair that go over like an eyeball and you have to retouch in between like the eyelashes and stuff like that, that is so annoying. Okay, I'm going to keep this photo quite vibrant and warm. There's a piece of fluff on my microphone. Hey, do you guys feel like we need background music for these live streams, or do you like it just like kind of quiet like this? Hold Option or Alt on PC to have tone curves move more precisely. Really? Oh my god. That's amazing. I had no idea about that. Oh, that's so much easier because you can move with so much more precision. Wow. Thank you, thank you. I need to scroll up and thank you by name. Ratul Duta. Thank you. That's a really good tip. And actually, I like it with the green curve down a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm going to use that every day now. No need. Quiet is comforting. We'll love some background music. Just your voice and quiet. Okay, I feel like quiet is more popular than music. And if we did music, it wouldn't be music that I like because I don't want to get like copyright claimed or anything. So it would have to be, I use Artlist to find all my music for my videos. So I've got like a giant library of music that I've used in my videos on my computer. So it would probably be that if we did that. I mean, they're nice songs though. I feel like gonna pull the orange up slightly. I'm also gonna saturate the yellows more too. And I actually feel like that image is done just with the tone curve, the RGB curve, and a little bit of HSL and the basic slider. So this is the photo by Chavion Freeman. Here is the original and here is the after. Okay, so now we said 258. Sorry to talk about Animal Crossing again, but if I get an online account, would you guys add me as a friend so we can like trade stuff? I feel like that would be fun. Okay, when I really kicked up my photography around a year ago, I'd watch your BTS for hours, so thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you for like watching my videos. I feel like I've never really talked about why I started a YouTube channel before, but I was feeling before I was doing a lot of fashion photography full time, and it was making me feel a little bit empty. I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was for nothing. It was like e-commerce and fashion and stuff like that. So it's like you take photos, they want them edited yesterday, they get uploaded, and then they're just like old news. And it just kind of felt, I don't know, everything was like rushed. Felt like it didn't, like the photos that I was taking don't really matter. Like it was just to make a company money, which like, I mean, yeah, that's how the world goes around. But yeah, I kind of got sick of that. And I just decided to start a YouTube channel because I thought like if I made tutorials sharing the things I know about photography and sharing my stories and sharing behind the scenes of photo shoots that I put together for myself, like it would make me feel like I'm doing it for a reason. So yeah, I would say starting a YouTube channel is the best decision I ever made. So if you guys were ever thinking about it, stop thinking and do it. It's been a lot of fun. This photo is so cool, by the way. This photo is by Aaron Wilson Photos on Instagram. This is taken on 55 to 250 millimeter f4 to 5.6 at 55 millimeters. Is this like, I've never been to Iceland before, but is this like a national park or just like a random walk to somewhere? I love all the car headlights in the background. It's super pretty. And I like this rock too. That's a nice boulder. I would love to see a collaboration with you and Irene again. Is there anyone you would like to collab with in the future? Yeah, I would love to collab with Irene again as well. I think that first video that she had was a really cool idea. So I was like, I definitely want to be a part of it. And then in terms of collaborating with other people, I had some plans on collaborating with a photographer that's got a YouTube channel from Brisbane. His name is Mitch Lally. He's got a really beautiful photography style, and I really like his videos. So if you guys want more photography videos, go check him out. We were going to collaborate together, but then the pandemic happened, so we couldn't. And then the same thing goes with some other Australian photography YouTubers, North Borders and Seventh Era, who are from Melbourne. But again, can't get down to Melbourne at the moment. So that'll probably have to wait until who knows when, maybe the end of the year. Aaron said that this photo is in a park. They are two tectonic plates that you can walk in between. Wow, that's cool. I want to keep the blue color. It looks so nice. Was this shot like at 5 p.m.? Cool. It looks like, I don't know, really early morning or nighttime, you know, when the sun doesn't set up in Northern Europe. Okay, I like that. I feel like with travel photos, I like to keep them close to the original. I just give them like a fresh look usually when I'm editing my photos personally. So here's the final before and after. This is by Aaron Wilson Photos on Instagram. This is the original and this is the after. Okay, spam the chat with your number. I'm gonna pick some. Muji said number 205 shot in Queenstown. I love Queenstown. Been there a long time ago. Went to Wanaka to shoot a travel bridal. Oh my gosh, did you say 205? That looks like Queensland. Queenstown. Okay, I'm gonna write some random numbers down. I'm gonna write down 263 and 164 because you wrote it out in in letters. And I'm gonna do 126. Okay, I'm gonna write those three down for now and we'll get to them. So this photo is by where's my mouse? On the other screen. Okay. This photo is by Sylvian on Instagram. Okay. This one, I feel like I want to go for a cold edit and I want to desaturate it quite a lot. I'm also going to give it a nice S-curve, like super matte blacks. Crush the whites a little bit, but also brighten the highlights a fair amount too. Okay, and I'm going to do 131 as well. When you said spam the live, we all brought it. I know, I'm like struggling to keep up reading the numbers. How do I find out what my number is? Just down here in the thumbnails, you've got a number that Lightroom automatically assigns. So yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick blue curve. And then I'm going to dive into the red channel of the tone curve, which I hardly ever use unless I'm doing like a cold kind of moody edit. So I'm going to remove some reds just here in the shadows. Maybe the highlights? No, too much. Maybe a tiny bit here. Oh, I forgot to hold Option. The fun little thing that I learned. Can you remove fringes from photo? Do you mean like a hair fringe, or if you mean the like you know how you get purple fringing around stuff? You can just go to manual in lens correction. And then what I normally like to do is I just do it manually. I bring up the amount till about 5 and then just move this around depending on what color the lens aberration looks like in the photo. And I've only ever had to use the green one like twice. And when I'm editing a wedding, there's a lot of fringing happening in photos. Okay, so I'm going to bump up the shadows to bring some attention to our subject, bring down the blacks and the highlights as well. Okay, and then in HSL, I think is where the magic is going to happen. I'm going to bring down the green saturation and the yellow saturation. I'm also going to bump them down into the more yellowy hue for both of them. And I feel like there was a lot of different colorful colors in this photo, and I kind of just want to lessen the palette of the photo. I feel like it would tie it all together. And then I'm going to bump up orange. Going to bring yellows down, and I might bring greens up a little as well. Oh yeah, Gustav, we were saying in the last chat, we could do some kind of way where maybe after a bunch of numbers have been said in the chat, we can put them somewhere and randomize them. Because yeah, it is hard and I feel bad like picking numbers. I am just picking them at random. So I don't have favorites, okay? Do you have any editing horror stories? Editing horror stories. I can't think of any. I feel like when I'm editing, I'm in like the safety of my office at home and nothing bad can happen. Dan and I are also very, very good with our backups and stuff. So yeah, I haven't really had any editing horror stories. I do have, because they were uploaded so long ago, I think a lot of people haven't seen them. But I've got some photo shoot horror stories. There's 2 videos, and I think they're called When Things Go Wrong at a Photo Shoot. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with what this photo looks like. This one's by Sylvian on Instagram. Here is the before, and here is my edit. Okay, so this was 205. I think we're doing 263 next. I'm just writing down numbers on my phone, so yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. When things go wrong at a photo shoot, something that happened to me, I mean, it didn't end up being bad in the end, but it literally almost made me have a heart attack. We were doing a photo shoot on like a pier, and this was for a client, and I had to change memory cards almost right at the end of the photo shoot, and this was when I was using my 5D Mark II. So this was a while ago now, and dual card slots were not a thing. So I only had one memory card in my camera that I used to shoot the entire photo shoot. And I went to change my card, and we were standing on a pier out in the middle of like the ocean, and the water was really rough underneath. And when I took it out, it just slipped out of my fingers and went flying like maybe 2 meters in front of me. And there was like, you know how piers have like really big gaps? It landed like right next to the gap on the pier. Luckily no one noticed, so I didn't say anything. I just like picked it up and tried not to cry, because that was like the scariest thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, I like editing because you're safe at home and nothing bad can happen. This is a really cool photo. I feel like I'm going to sharpen this one too. And I wonder if we could do like a little bit of lens correction. I feel like there's a bit of vignetting. Yeah, it was like a very subtle amount. And then I'm also going to straighten it up just so this building here on the side is straight. Why don't you try ASMR videos? Okay, I've said this in every single live stream, but so it's definitely not going to be a surprise anymore, but I was going to eventually make like a surprise ASMR Lightroom tutorial. Probably can't do it now while I have allergies from autumn because I'm like losing my voice. I think this one I want it to have like a cool edit as well. Whoops, thought I was in red. Oh, actually, maybe, hold on, option. I think I just want to get rid of some reds in the highlights, but I wanted to keep the shadow reds just for a skin tone. And then I might balance out that color with some highlights in the split toning. Yeah, because I want her skin tone to be like nice. Yeah, and I want to go for like that purpley blue color for the shadows. Thank you so much for editing mine. It means a lot. You're welcome. I hope you liked what I did with it. Okay, I feel like we need a deeper kind of curve. Everyone watching, remember to like the stream. Thank you. That would be nice. If you could meet one photographer, dead or alive, who would it be? I feel like it would be my favorite photographer, which is Tim Walker. I've loved his work for so long. So it would be really cool to get to meet him and maybe pick his brain or hear some stories or just hang out. I would love that. But his work is really cool. Dan recently got me his new book. His books are amazing. You should Google it. Okay, and then I feel like maybe I'll bump down the saturation slightly. A little bit more contrast. Oh, that's pretty. And then I wonder, maybe we could do like a graduated filter here just to bring down the exposure. And then maybe one more here. Cool. Actually, I'm also going to add an adjustment brush just to her hair at the top there and bring up the exposure slightly, just because I feel like when we brought down the exposure with the graduated filter, it kind of made her blend into the background. But here is my final photo, my final edit. This is not my photo. This photo was taken by Seba SGL_photo on Instagram, before and after. Okay, next one we had is 164. Also, when we finish the stream today, I will delete all the photos that we have already edited, and all the ones that are still in here will be in here for next time. Okay, this photo is by Kev Sason on Instagram. And I feel like, is it? Yeah, I'm going to straighten it a tiny bit. I really like this photo. It seems like a really like a cute moment that you captured. You have inspired me to start photography professionally and to buy my first camera. You are such an inspiration and I look up to you. Your message disappeared. So much. Hope she reads this. Thank you, Imogen. That makes me really happy to hear. Yeah, I was going to say also, thank you for all your like wonderful messages and stuff that you wrote when you were submitting all your photos for this video. It always, yeah, makes me really happy to read it. Yeah, I'm going to bring up the white balance so it's a little bit warmer, and the tint as well. So I feel like there's a lot of green in this location, so I kind of want to offset that. I need some water. Will Dan also do an ASMR? Will you, Dan? Oh, we've had Evie do an ASMR before. I mean, just for ourselves, because it's satisfying. I think Dan was holding out a microphone to her while she was eating or something, and it's just like the cutest noises. Okay, I had a little bit of an S-curve. Signing off for the night. Would love for you to get to 2:29 so I can watch in the morning. Okay, I'll write it down. When I first started taking photography seriously, this was one of the first channels I started watching. It honestly helped me so much. Yay, thank you. Evie, yes, me, no. We can do an ASMR, me and Evie together. But you can like just hear her chewing and purring at the same time. It's super cute. Have you seen the soap craving ASMR videos? No, but I will watch it as soon as we're finished with the live stream. It sounds super weird. Is it on the weird side of YouTube? Okay, let's edit. I feel like I'm going to bring up the orange saturation. Normally I do like the opposite, but I feel like we need a little bit more life in their skin tones. And I think I'm also going to bring the orange hue down just to have a bit of a pinkier tone to the skin tones. I normally do this when a photo was shot in a green location. Green, like trees and stuff, can kind of cast like a yellow or like a green almost color to the skin. So I feel like orange hue really helps with that. And just a tiny amount too, you don't have to do a lot. I'm also gonna saturate the greens a lot because I love the location. It's super pretty. Oh, can we saturate the purple flowers? A little bit. Please don't spam the chat that much. We want to still be able to keep talking to everyone. Okay, and then highlights, I'm going to go for, again, like an orange. Yeah, like a warm color. And I'm going to bring the saturation right down. Sorry guys, I have to put you in timeout. Then I can't read what everyone else is saying if you spam the chat like one after another. Okay, and then the shadows, I'm going to go for a similar color to the highlights. I'm going to do a greeny kind of yellow. Okay, and here is my final edit. This photo is by Kev Sason on Instagram. This is the original and this is the after. Nice. Okay, 126 is next. Oh, this is a cool one. This photo is by Alexander 900-211 on Instagram. I'm going to start by straightening it. I always struggle saying that. Hi Julia, Phyllis from Chicago. Love your videos. Thank you. Make this into a preset. It's so gorgeous. Thank you. I'll have to see. I feel like it's, I don't I don't know, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult making presets because sometimes particular settings look really cool on one photo and then you apply them to another one and it just doesn't work whatsoever. But after the stream, I can go back and have a look. Do you still shoot on Sony? Yes. I have the Canon 5D Mark IV and the Sony a7 III that I use to shoot. Yeah, the main reason that I still use both cameras is that like it's fun for me to use both, and I feel like it would also kind of keeps my YouTube videos a little more interesting as well. But yeah, it is hard, like once you've committed to one camera brand, it's really hard to like, unless you sell all your gear that you've built up, to have a second full camera kit like ready. I think I've pretty much finished my Sony kit. I have the a7 III and a second body as well, so I can shoot weddings. Then I've got the Zeiss 35, and then I have the G Master 85. And then the last lens that I would need is a 135. But I really wanted to hire the Sigma 135 and the Sony 135 because I've heard really good things about both of them. And I was going to make like a portrait video comparison. Yeah, because I can't decide which one I want. Okay, so in luminance, I want to see if I can bring the blues down a bit. And I might saturate them a little as well. Otherwise, you know, I like them, the sky being a little bit dark, so there's like a hint of color in the background instead of it just being completely white. And then I definitely want to saturate those flowers if possible. Maybe red. And then I'm also going to brighten them. Yeah, I think I overdid it on the saturation there. There we go, it's just a bit brighter. And then I also really like the color of this building here to the side. I feel like if it's darker, and a little more saturation. Is the a7 II a large difference from the a7 III in your opinion for portraits? I believe you've used both. Yeah, I have a whole video that goes into details about that on my channel. But the a7 II is a really good camera. I feel like the biggest thing you're missing out on with that is eye autofocus. But I mean, us photographers have lived for many, many years without eye autofocus and have been able to take, you know, sharp portraits and stuff. So in my opinion, I feel like it's not a necessity. I feel like the eye autofocus is just a bonus that is fun to kind of use. So yeah, if that doesn't bother you too much, then I feel like the a7 II is pretty good. I'm also going to be working on a video testing the low light functionality of the a7 II versus the a7 III, because that's something Dan and I can do in self-isolation at home. So yeah, hopefully you guys want to see that because we're making it. It's happening. Okay, I feel like there was like a little bit too much green in the shadows, so I just kind of got rid of that a little. Okay, now there's too much red. So I'm just gonna hold the Option key so the curve doesn't move so crazily. Okay, and that's given it like a bit of a warm, like summery kind of feel, which I like. Might desaturate it slightly as well. Okay, so here is the before and after, the original photo and my edits, and this photo is by Alexander900211 on Instagram. You can see everyone's Instagram up there. Okay, and then we had 131. Oh, okay, a lot of questions. How do you feel? Oh, you disappeared. How do you feel about the focus speed of the 85 GM? That's why I opted for the 135, but I'll wait for the 85 Mark II. Well, Funny you say that, but I come from the land of the Canon 85 1.2 L series lens, and that is a lens that absolutely everyone I know complains about it being ridiculously slow. So for me, the G Master focuses like so fast and it's super duper sharp. Yeah, I've been really, really obsessed with it. This photo is by Beta Benson Designs _ on Instagram. I really like this picture. I'm gonna straighten it up because it kind of looks like it's slightly crooked. Yeah, I think there. I'm also gonna bring up the white balance because I want some warmth. I usually like to bring the white balance up until I see the skin tone looking warm. That's like the main thing that I'm looking at while I'm editing things. And then if it looks a bit too much overall, then I'll just bring it down slightly. So I think there it's good. Ooh, I love the bokeh on the tops of the trees here with the sunset. They're so pretty. Can the roles be reversed between you and Dan? He takes the photos and you record the videos. Yeah, Dan answered it the exact same way that I was going to. I'm not a fan of how much his camera weighs. I don't think I would be able to hold it for longer than like 5 minutes, and I would probably really hurt my back or my neck doing that. But I feel like, would you guys like to see a video where Dan, because I mean, Dan, we could make, you know, like a one-off kind of video filming rig. Would you guys like to see Dan do a fashion shoot instead of me? Would you be up for that, Dan? I feel like that would be really fun, actually. You'd have to like come up with the styling and the location and all of that stuff. I feel like that'd be really fun. Because I know you shoot weddings. Dan shoots weddings quite often. Not anymore because of the pandemic. But yeah, before all that happened, Dan does wedding photography and wedding videography full time. And I do wedding photography only full time with him. Yeah, so you do that. But you haven't done a shoot with a model in like a really, really long time. Stop avoiding my question, Dan. Oh, Dan's got some kind of spreadsheet happening. We could. Please stop spamming the chat. I'm going to saturate the oranges for this photo. What are your opinions on the North Borders 7th era Hayden Pedersen style? Do you find it too colorful? No, I love their photos. I feel like I really like, I feel like they do a lot of like cooler colors in their editing, and it's super like almost high contrast, but I really like the way that it looks. But yeah, for me, I've always been a fan of like the vintage style. I've said this before. When I first started photography, I was obsessed with vignettes, and I was also really obsessed with sepia. I thought it was, again, the coolest thing ever. Yeah, so I feel like I've always liked vintage kind of colors, but that's just for my style of photography. I wanted it to give it like a fairy tale vibe with like a purple highlights, but I think green almost looks better in the shadows. And I think we need to go a bit more with the highlights. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then for the hue, got some greens popping out, which I kind of want them to be more warmer. Okay, and then I feel like also I kind of, again, want to darken around the subject. So I'm going to use an adjustment brush and make it nice and big. Just kind of like 2 lines to either side. And I'm going to bring down the contrast slightly. I mean the exposure, and then bump up the contrast a little. And then maybe, okay, and then I think I'm also going to bring down the vibrance or saturation. Maybe I'll do it here. There's just like these couple of green bits coming out. Kind of want them to be a little less green. I could notice your vintage feel over your Insta feed, all of it. Yeah. Like as far down as you'll scroll on Instagram, I've been on Instagram ever since like the app started. It's all vintage. Do you like Vegemite, or is that just a stereotype? I used to like Vegemite when I was younger. Now I never go out of my way to like buy it or anything. The trick with Vegemite though is that you have to put like the smallest amount. You can't spread it on bread as if it's butter, because it would just be, yeah, ridiculously bitter. Okay, so this is the final photo by Better Benson's Designs _ on Instagram. That was really weird spacing for me talking. Okay, so here is the original and here is the after. Kind of feel like, hold on. Kind of feel like a preset would look really cool for this one. I'll bring the exposure up slightly. I think have like a vintage vibe. Or even bluebells, maybe with like, but yeah, this is a really pretty photo. Okay, 131. Okay, and then we're gonna do 229. I was thinking of doing another live stream on Saturday in Sydney. In Sydney, I don't know. Wait, what's gross? 229. Ooh. Now, how do I open all of them again? There we go. I was like, what's the shortcut? Any tips for backlit photos? I feel like, thanks for editing my photo. You taught me a lot. Do the tree lines on the top bug you? No, I really like them. Sorry, I was pointing out, I probably got distracted by a question or something. I really liked how they were just like, it's like a tree line of bokeh and you can see it really prominently because of the sunset. So I thought it looked really nice. Okay, this photo is by JTD Views on Instagram. Okay, so the next few images, we have a randomized spreadsheet that someone made from the chat. Thank you. Was it Gustav, I think? So you guys, Dan Vegemite, it's really not that bad. I mean, I like bitter things. Like, I used to like Vegemite when I was little, not so much anymore. I like salt and vinegar chips, balsamic vinegar and stuff like that. I don't know. It's my thing. Yeah, so we've got the next bunch of photos already picked out from the spreadsheet that randomly picked it out from the chat. So you guys can go ahead and just like chat or ask questions and stuff instead of giving me your numbers. Okay, for this photo, I feel like I really like the blue color, but I want to really change the hue of the blue color just so it's like I don't know, like a deep ocean blue, so you get that vibe when you're looking at it. I'm gonna bring down the highlights just a little bit. I really like how this is a like a silhouette. Hi, where are you from? I'm from Sydney, Australia. I was born here and I've lived here my entire life. Do you have an all-time favorite preset? Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say though, I feel like my favorite, just because I think it's the one that I've used the most recently, I guess for like my more modern photography, it would have to be Amalfi. Like when I made that, like it was in the works for a while. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna go for a more aqua-ish. No, turquoise. That's the color I'm going for. Like a turquoise color. Yeah, it was in the works for a while and I was like pretty obsessed with it. And then once I finished it off and I made the whole pack, I think I used it for like the next 20 photo shoots that I edited. And I was like, okay, I should probably try editing with something else. I had to like force myself to stop using it. But then before that, my other favorite would have been disposable film. I used to use that a lot as well. Okay, I like that more aqua-ish kind of look. I'm going to bring down the blue luminance. Do you have a base edit for your photos, as in do you always do a certain split tone? For me, the base is usually the tone curve. I always do an S-curve, and just depending on the vibe that I'm going for the photo, I either do a subtle S-curve or a more prominent S-curve. And then the other thing that I always do is well, not always, but sometimes I like to do the S-curve on the blue channel as well, just because I love the blues in the shadows and then the warmth in the blacks and then the blues again in the whites for the skin tone. So I feel like that's what I do most often. Okay, so in HSL, I'm pretty much only going to be using, I don't need you, Siri. She came up when I said HSL. I'm mostly going to be using just the green, aqua, and blue channel, since those are the main colors that we have in our photo. I'm pretty happy with what the color looks like so far. I might have to desaturate it slightly. Maybe the greens, because this bottom corner is quite green. And then I'm going to bring up the pinks a little and the exposure too, and save the highlights slightly. Do you ever get fatigued by shooting/editing portraits and just want to do something completely different? Yeah, I do. But luckily I do like just doing photography in general. So I am always taking photos of random things. Like when we travel, I always have my camera with me. When we go on like a random camping trip with Dan and Kung, or like a road trip somewhere, I have my camera with me and I'm always taking photos. And recently, because of self-isolation, I started a new project where I've been taking photos of the moon, and that's been really fun because like I've got this app called Starwalk, so I know where it is in the sky, and then I kind of wait for sunset or dusk, and then I try to take creative photos. Unfortunately, all I have are like my portrait lenses to be able to do moon photography, so I use like the 85 and the 135 to do it, which is not like, I guess, what most landscape photographers would use, but it's kind of fun having that challenge. So I have to put stuff like in the foreground to make the shot interesting. Okay, I need to just do something to this corner because it's, I don't know, maybe bring down the exposure and bring down the white balance. Just because I feel like it kind of stands out compared to the rest of the image. Okay, there, I feel like it's more balanced. Okay, so this photo is by JTD Views on Instagram, and here is the original photo and here is the after. That was 229. Okay, so now we're grabbing some numbers from the spreadsheets. We have number 269 next. I'm from Poland and I love your video when you were in Gdańsk. Thank you. That was the 35 versus 50mm for travel photography video. That was really, really fun to make, and we also got to have pierogi while we made that video, so can't complain. Oh, nice. That's a nice portrait. This photo is by Gustav_DK_photos on Instagram. And I was thinking of cropping it in, but I actually really like the composition, so I'm going to leave it as is. Hey from Adelaide, I've watched all this one and on Saturday night and learning so much. Thanks. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for joining us again. I'm going to start with a tone curve for this one. Where was this portrait taken? I feel like it was in the UK or something. I'm getting like a feeling. I would love to know. Oh, that's a nice tone to start with. Love the edit, can't get over the blues. Thank you. How long till the giveaway announcement? As soon as we finish this stream, I am going to be commenting back on the winners and the 5 runners up on the Pixel 4 giveaway video. And yeah, then I'll have to wait until they get back to me, make sure like everything's all good, like they're from Australia, so we will be able to send like the phone and the codes and stuff. And then I'll share on my Instagram and on Twitter, just so you know when that's all been like finished. But yeah, sorry, it's taken me a little while longer to get to than I was hoping. Okay, then I feel like I need to warm it up a little bit overall. But then I'm going to use, because I feel like the background's really cold, but it's almost over warming up his face. So I'm also going to use an adjustment brush just over his face and bring down the white balance again for there. Cool. Yeah, I love Ben Folds. I'm just like scrolling through Lightroom. Okay. And then I'm going to add some more warmth to the overall photo with the blue curve. Actually, we don't need blues in the shadows. So I'm just going to pull it down here and then pull it up for the highlights. And then I'm going to pull out some greens as well. Have you worked with black and white photography? Back when I was in high school, I took a photography class and we only shot on black and white film because that's, I think, easier and cheaper to develop yourself at the school. So I got to do a lot of black and white photography then with a film camera. But since then, the only time I do black and white is if I like edit it black and white in Lightroom. And I think I'm going to sharpen this too. Nice. Okay, I think we need a little more contrast. So I'm going to pull down pretty much the entire tone curve, just so it's not so bright. I think it's like my personal preference. I really like kind of darker and moodier photos. Yeah, Robert, because we're doing a 2 p.m. daytime stream, that's when Evie sleeps. She sleeps from like midday till about 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And then she's up all night running around the house like crazy. Okay, I'm liking that. All right, so this photo is by Gustav_DK_photos on Instagram, and here is the before and here is the after. Maybe it's a little bit dark. Maybe I'll bring up the exposure a little bit. There we go. Before and after. Yeah, I feel like because it looks like quite a classic kind of headshot, like mid-length headshot, I feel like the edit should be kept quite natural, so I feel like this suits the image. Okay, next up we have 302. By the way, guys, I stopped reading the news for like the past, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days. I've tried to stay away from reading the news about everything that's happening. This photo is by Cole Parker on Instagram, and the model is Tori Wenger on Instagram as well. And yeah, for the past 3 days, I've been in like a really good mood. So if you're feeling a little bit down and you read the news a lot, it really helped me to just like stop. Ask if Jules had to start a kit from scratch, she'd build it with Sony. Yeah, I would. Unfortunately, my kit is done. Also, like, I don't have the heart to sell off some camera gear because it's been with me, like, it feels like my whole life. Oh, thank you for the donation, Robert. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm not like trying to diss Canon or anything, but I've just been really, really enjoying shooting on Sony. And I feel like there's so many things that you're able to do that we couldn't do on Canon. Like, for example, you know how in my behind the scenes with Sony, I record what you see through my viewfinder? Oh, thank you again, Robert. Yeah, so we were using that same method on the Canon mirrorless camera, and you can't record what you see through the viewfinder. So it's super annoying. There's like, yeah, little things like that that just kind of makes life easier on Sony. This is such a pretty photo. I feel like I might crop it in a little bit. Maybe so the thirds land on the horizon line. And also, I notice you guys, not you specifically, but like sometimes on my behind the scene videos in the comments, people say that it annoys them so much that I crop out feet and stuff in a shot. But sometimes I feel like you don't need the whole foot in a photo. Like here, I've got it clipped just a little bit, but I really like it like that. I do it on purpose. Hello from Belgium. First timer here, it's great. Thank you. What's your ideal lens if budget was not a factor? Yeah, it would still be a 35 for sure. Like if I had to choose one lens to live with for the rest of my life, I don't even have to think about it. It's a 35. Also, people were saying I should try out some really, really budget 35s, such as the, what are they called? Yongnuan? Yeah, I don't know. There's like and it's, I think like a $100 or $200 Australian dollar 35mm lens that they make. Should I do that? Recovering shadows in Sony is so much better than Canon. Yeah, highlights too. I think for me specifically, the A7 III definitely has a bit more dynamic range than the 5D Mark IV, I've noticed. Okay, I'm going to go for a greeny yellow highlight. So I feel like it's giving it a little bit of a pastel tone, which I like. And then I think a purple shadow, but I'm going to keep the saturation like super duper low. And maybe I'll make it so the highlights affects more of the image than the shadows. So I'll pull the balance up, right? Yeah. It's going to be tough doing the 35 when we have to practice social distancing now. I know. I wish I had done the 135 video, but I don't have a 135. The 85 is the furthest away I can get from someone. Yongnuo, yeah. Oh yeah, I should try the Samyang one too. Dan has a Samyang manual focus 35. Hi Jules and Dan from Philippines. Hi Charmaine. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I didn't even do any of this. I'm going to desaturate the yellows like by a touch. And also bring up their luminance and the orange luminance slightly too. And then we're done. So this photo is by Cole Parker, and here is the original, and here is my edit. The next photo we have is 170. Ooh, this is a nice one. This is by LSG Sri Lanka. Is that your Instagram handle? Thoughts about 30mm 1.4. I don't think I've ever tried a 30mm actually. I've done 18, 24, 28, 35, 50, 85, then 24 to 70, 135, 70 to 200. That looks edited already. Nice pops of color. Must be Canon. This one's a Sony file because it's ARW raw file. I don't know, guys. I feel like my Canon and my Sony files are the same in terms of color. I have never struggled editing a Sony file, even with like the Sony A7 II. Yongnuo lenses are, in my opinion, good for beginners with little money. Yeah, I feel like I should make a video about it. It would be cool. Okay, I'm going to bring down the white point because it's quite bright. And then I might bring down the shadows too, because I feel like I want it to look a little bit like deeper. No, I like the shadows up and the blacks down. Any tips in using manual focus lenses to get sharp images? For me, okay, a couple of things that I do. So on the Sony A7 III, when you use a manual lens, I think the camera comes set up that way when you first buy it. But it zooms in to 100% in the viewfinder and on the back of the screen when you're touching the manual focus, the focus ring on the lens. So when it's zoomed in to 100%, you can kind of move your focus point to be on the eye so you can really see when you've got it in focus. And then the other thing that I like to do is I shoot in a more kind of burst style. So I'll slowly move the focus ring around a little bit while I take a bunch of photos. Yeah, so that's how I would get my photos in focus. Yeah, you can turn off the zoom in manual focus, and likewise, if you do want it, you can turn it on as well. But yeah, I was just saying, I think it helps when you're manual focusing to have it zoomed in so you can really see if it's sharp, because it's hard to see otherwise when it's just zoomed out. And then you download the photos on your computer and you're like, I thought it was in focus. This photo is so cute. Where was this taken? Was this a wedding in Sri Lanka? And you took this photo there? Okay, what are we gonna do? I think luminance, I'm gonna bring up the oranges and the yellows. And I'm gonna bring down the green luminance because I want the top leaves to look a little bit darker. Dang, so many Wisconsin people. Go crazy, guys. Is it cold in the States right now? April. Is it spring? I'm going to bring the yellow hue down just because I feel like that's a nice color combination, like the lush greens with the slightly yellowed yellows. And then highlights, I want it to be warm because it's a beautiful wedding photo. And then shadows, I'm going to go for like a purple. And then I feel like I still need to bring the exposure down a little bit, and I might bring the saturation. Oh, I like the vibrance up. Saturation down by like a touch. And then the last thing I want to do is add just a little adjustment brush to his face because it looks a bit dark. And then just here, like on his shoulder, we're kind of losing a little bit of light. And then I think one more, just like in this little spot and on his forehead. Okay, so this photo is by LSG Sri Lanka, and here is the original, and here is my edits. No, it's hot in Bangladesh. Oh no, it's spring and we're stuck inside after getting out of winter. Yeah, that must really, really suck. Dan was talking to his auntie who lives in Poland, and she was saying that like everyone was super excited for summer to start, but now they're all stuck indoors and they can't go out. And I remember Dan and I, when we first went to Poland, we went in, I think it was just after winter finished. So it was still really cold outside. This photo is by SZphoto_ on Instagram. And people don't really like going out or hanging out and things like that. And then I remember we went back another summer, and people are so social in Europe during the summer. So yeah, it must be really painful if you guys can't go out now that the weather's getting warmer. I feel like we're a bit luckier here in Australia because we're getting into winter at the moment. So I kind of don't mind hibernating inside. Okay, this is a really cool photo. I'm going to sharpen it a little. Just because I like seeing, it's not that it was out of focus, it's just that I love seeing skin, eyelash, and hair textures. That's why I like sharpening. Okay, this is so pretty. I'm going to bring the highlights down and the shadows. Or do I want them up? Yeah, like that. Shadows up, blacks down. I literally always do that. Do you guys find that you get into kind of like, my hair is so frizzy, like an editing habit, and you find yourself doing like similar things to every photo that you edit? think I might also bring the white balance down a little. Oh my god, winter. I forgot the globe is like that. Yeah. It's really weird to think about for me as well sometimes. I really like the pose that she's doing in this photo. I think it's really cute. Yes, I just slap on a preset and adjust it a bit. Yeah, that's what I normally do too. I feel like these videos, these live streams where I get to edit your photos is actually even just really good for me to edit photos from scratch. Because yeah, I normally use all my presets that are here. Oh, I feel like Canyon looks nice. Okay, blue. Good night from New York. Enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Raphael, and good night. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone. Thank you for editing my photo, Julia. This has been a lot of fun. We'll watch the rest in the AM. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you, Zach. Good night. Thanks for joining. This photo is too darn cute. I know, right? It's such a cute like pose and everything. I really like it. Okay, I feel like we've got a lot of yellows. Oh, I like the yellow trees. Maybe saturation orange. Yeah. Actually, I prefer it like with a bit more of like a natural look. Yeah, I like that warmth from bringing the green primary hue down in calibration. Might bring the saturation down slightly on that and on the red too. Oh, I feel like that's given the photo a bit of an autumny vibe style. And I might add just a little bit of a blue highlight, just very subtly though. And then a yellowy green shadow. Okay, here's my before and after. This photo is by SZphoto_ on Instagram. Here is the before and here is the after. Actually, I think I prefer it without the highlight. Yeah, because the skin tone's a bit warmer. So it's like a very subtle edit, but I feel like the original like photo straight out of the camera looks really nice. It do be like that sometimes. This is basically a free workshop. Thanks for live streaming your edit. You're welcome. I'm glad you like it. Your favorite movie? Oh wait, let me edit while I think. 208. Oh, this photo is by TK Explores on Instagram. Yeah, you submitted a few from this photo shoot and all the photos were really cool, but I thought this one with the really bright highlights and then the shadows would be fun to edit. Sorry, I've got like a hair in my eye. I edit a lot of other photographers' photos here in Juarez. I have to do a lot of the same to a degree. I just adjust white balance and contrast once I have the base colors and curve. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like yeah, for me, when I apply a preset, everything is done for me. The only thing I adjust is like the exposure, the temperature, and sometimes the highlights and shadows, depending on like the kind of photo. So this one, for example, is the kind of photo that I'd apply a preset and then adjust the highlights and the shadows. Okay, I don't know where to start. Maybe I should start with the tone curve. Favorite movie? I'm trying to think. Can you think of any movies, Dan? I feel like, have you watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? That's a good classic. So for this, I don't really want to save the highlights too much because I still want it, like, I don't want it to look HDR. Oh yeah, the Hobbit series, Lord of the Rings series, Matrix series, Jurassic Park series. Those are some of my favorites. Oh, also, I've never really gotten into Star Wars because I feel like I've been more of a Lord of the Rings fan growing up, so I never tried the Star Wars series. But we watched Rogue One because a friend recommended that we didn't need to see the rest of the series to understand it. And it was actually pretty good. I liked it. And it has the guy from Narcos Mexico in it. The main character there is the main character in Rogue One. So that was exciting. Have you guys watched the new series of Narcos? I feel like that show's a little bit rough sometimes, but it's still good. The cinematography in it is so beautiful. Good night, Julia. Thank you again. Good night. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, I really like that kind of blue color to this. I know you were saying it was shot in like a ranch or something, but having like a blush kind of color is really suiting it. Because at first I thought, oh, maybe like a brown color would look good. I'm going to desaturate the jeans a little bit and saturate the oranges and the reds. You need to watch 4, 5, and 6, by far the best for Star Wars. Even if I haven't watched any Star Wars apart from Rogue One, can I start on number 4 and I'll understand what's going on? Because like we need stuff to watch, so I'm willing to give Star Wars a go now. Zoom in 1:1 to see the eye detail. Loving the A7R Mark IV. Oof, that is so sharp. Yeah. See, that doesn't, I wouldn't add any sharpening to that because that's like ridiculously crisp. Like, look at all that detail, even just like in the fabric of her sleeve. Wow. I feel like if I had the R series though, I would spend so much time like retouching my close-up portraits. Do you watch Money Heist? I saw nice photography in their teasers. Are you one of the photographers in that series? No, I haven't watched Money Heist before, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I was thinking of downloading it. Oh no, it's on Netflix, isn't it? Is that on Netflix or one of the other ones? But yeah, no, I'm not part of the series. You can. All the movies, Star Wars movies, have a recap in the beginning to get you up to speed. Huh. She said, oof, that focus and sharpness is spot on, not gonna lie. It is on Netflix. Highly recommend it. Okay. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch Money Heist and I'm gonna watch Star Wars with Dan. 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I feel like we need to bring the blacks down. Maybe the temp down. Okay, and then I think the last thing I'm going to do is that little adjustment brush thing that I do on her face, just to bring out a little bit more attention. Okay, so here is, this photo is by TK Explores on Instagram, and here is the before, and here is my edit. This is a really nice photo. Oh, I didn't even straighten it up. Just a little bit. There we go. That's the kind of cropping I like. Do you watch Westworld? No, I would like to watch it though. Can you talk in an American accent? I don't want to embarrass myself. I feel like I would do a terrible job. 190. This photo is by Rainy Lins on Instagram. I really like the location and the lighting. Oh wait, I think there's some edits on it already. Reset. Okay, so I'm going to straighten it, which I think is one of the things that you did in your edit too. And I'm going to crop it like just so we get the whole foot in the shot. I was saying in the last live stream as well that we were really into the OA. Have you guys watched that? I really, really liked it. That's on Netflix as well. But yeah, they set up so the next season would be like ready to go. Like it had the storyline ready to just slip in there, and they canceled it. So that really sucks. I like the blue. If I bring down the tint of the pinks, I like how it's mostly blue, and then I'll bring the white balance up a little as well. The OA dance is so nice. I know, right? I'm definitely thinking I'm gonna add some graduated filters to this one. Can I zoom into his face? Sometimes you can see like what kind of lighting someone used for a photo in the reflection of the subject's eyes. Just trying to see if I could figure it out. I feel like those blacks are way too matted. Devs on Hulu. Looks like old school Michael Jackson. I like it. I really like the jacket he's wearing is so cool. I feel like if I bring down the highlights, you can see it a little better. Okay, and then I'm going to use a gradient filter. I always forget what they're called. It's so annoying. And I'm going to bring the exposure up for the top half of the photo. And then I'm going to make a new one and bring the exposure down for the bottom half of the photo, because I feel like the light source is really bright around his legs and on the floor, which is a little distracting. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to bring the overall exposure back up now. Wait, I feel like I got rid of a lot of colors from the original. Can you speak Spanish? Yes, but I sound like awful. I don't have a Spanish accent. It's really hard for me to speak Spanish because like I can't think of the words to say fast enough, so it's terrible. But I understand Spanish perfectly. I can read it as well. Every time someone leaves a comment or sends me an email in Spanish, it's kind of nice because like I get to practice. That's also part of the reason why I liked watching Narcos so much, is because I got to practice my Spanish. I also got to learn a few new words that they never taught us in Spanish school, so that's fun too. She speaks Polish as well. Yeah, I'm learning. I mean, we spend so much time in Poland that like I thought I may as well try and learn. But Polish is really, really difficult. Like, wow. I have to practice to have the accent. Yeah, I know, but I mean, I spent 2 weeks with my dad. We went to visit my grandma and see some of his like friends that he had growing up from like school and stuff. And we were in Argentina for 2 whole weeks, and I was speaking Spanish for 2 weeks, and I still couldn't pick up the accent. I mean, my family were making me feel better. They're like, no, your accent's really good. I'm like, I know it's not. Ooh, okay. We're getting back some of that jumper color because I really like the green in the original photo. I just came back and my photo is being edited. Awesome. Hello from California. My favorite YouTuber / photographer. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Fabian. Sebastian said that I inspired him to get into photography. That's really sweet to hear. There was a rainbox of lights in the background under the bridge. I used no external lighting. Oh wow, that's cool. It looks like you have like a flash or a softbox or something set up like directly facing your subject. That's cool. Okay, I want to see if we can do anything here. I kind of I like the funky colors, but I don't know. For me personally, I can't help but just like fix colors. I used to do this when I used to do rainbow. I was like rainbox. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Okay, a rainbow of lights down the bottom. Yeah, I can see like here there's a few different lights. And they're kind of bleeding out over here as well. Yeah, so when I used to do live concert music photography, you know how the lights are super colorful and stuff like that. I would always just fix it, and sometimes I show people my before and afters, and they were like, oh, I feel like the original is better because it's more creative because it's got colorful lighting. Okay, I really like that. So here is the final before and after. This photo is by Rainy Lens on Instagram. This is the original, and this is my edit. That's a super cool photo. I also really love his outfit. It's good. I could not get the skin tones right, and the background too was too hard for me. In case you missed it, I added 2 graduated filters because I feel like I'll delete them so you can see. Just to balance out like the bright bottom half of the photo and the dark top half. So I brought the exposure. I'm like, what are words? I brought down the exposure in the bottom half of the photo, and then in the top half, I brought it up a slight amount. I feel like that like tied it in together for me. Okay, next number is 285. Also, sorry, every time I start a live stream, I'm like, okay, I'm going to edit quick so we can get through a whole bunch of photos, and then I end up getting just like sidetracked. But I really enjoy editing, so like I kind of want to put my time and effort into it. This photo is by Art Lounge Photography on Instagram. This is a really nice portrait. Okay, I'm going to start by bringing the highlights down a little bit because I like seeing skin texture. I'm watching all the live videos. Thank you, teacher. You're awesome editor, and you learn a lot. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my live streams. They've been really fun to do. Yeah, I also hope it's providing like some entertainment during the lockdowns. Okay, I really like when I brought up the shutters, you could see all that beautiful detail in her top. So I'm going to try and balance that out as well as possible. Hi, I'm Filipino. Have you ever watched Filipino movies? And do you have any photographer friend from the Philippines? I always watch your videos on YouTube and I learn a lot. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Marvin. I have not watched any Filipino movies as far as I know, but if you have any good ones to recommend, leave it in the chat and I can check it out. And I also don't know any photographers from the Philippines. I mean, I guess aside from you, right? The Philippines is somewhere I've always wanted to go. And it looks like there's a lot of beautiful locations to travel there. And a lot of really nice spots to do photography too. I'm loving the live stream. Glad I could join this time. Yay, I'm glad. Yeah, do you guys like the 2 p.m. start time, or would you prefer for me to start it earlier or later if I do another daytime stream? Because I think on Saturday I'm going to do another live stream, and I was thinking of doing another daytime one. But yeah, I just want to make sure you guys are able to join so you can watch. I actually really like that as is. I'm not sure if I want to do too much else to this photo. Maybe a little bit of highlight. Also, my lips are really dry. I need some lip balm. Start time is good. It's 8 in the morning over here. It's 1 a.m. where I live. Could you do a little earlier? It's 2 a.m. I feel like the last time that I need to try would be early in the morning in Sydney. But I'm just not a very good morning person. But I could try. Like maybe if we did like 9 a.m. I could do in Sydney, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, you know what? I actually really like this. Sometimes you don't really need to do too much to a photo. So this photo is by Art Lounge Photography. Here is the original and here is the after. Oh, actually, no, sorry. I just wanted to add a little exposure to the eyes, just here. And then I wanted to zoom in and do the iris enhance too. Okay, here is the final before and after. Before and after. That was 285. The next photo is 183. Earlier in Ecuador, it's 1 a.m. 2 a.m. Could you do a little earlier? It's 2 a.m. Oh, I read that one. 183. Ooh, I love this. This photo is by Pete the Pan on Instagram. And this was a 2-second exposure at f5.5. I like this. But I mean, we can always watch the next day too. That's true. I feel like it's fun watching it live. So like, I wouldn't want anyone to miss out. Okay, I'm really going to deepen the blacks for this one, but I might do it a little bit more with the tone curve instead of this. Did you say in your email that this was in London? My time opinion is biased. I am AEST. Are these live saved to watch later? Yeah. I think it takes a little while for YouTube to process the live as soon as we're finished. So it'll probably be up like an hour or two after we finish streaming. Dan, do you remember how long it normally takes? I do know, like, obviously the longer the stream, the longer it'll take to go up. So this one, Oh, we've been streaming for like 2 hours, so it might take a little while. But yeah, it'll be up on my channel. Okay. Highlights, I'm going to go for a cyan. And then shadows, I'm not sure. Ooh. The same color for shadows and highlights. Maybe I'll do a warmer highlights instead. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is 308. Like an hour before it's up on YouTube, probably after it ends. Yeah, so you'll have to wait like an hour. Okay, now I'm going to go into our blue channel. I definitely want blue shadows for this. Just going to pull them back down a little bit just so it's not like overboard in the photo. And then I kind of want to get rid of a bit of the green in the shadows too. I like that warmth a lot more instead. Try to watch Mind and Now movie, a story about ethnic and Filipino tribes. You will be amazed to our artworks from traditional costumes, foods, people living in the mountain area. I hope you can visit Philippines. Cool, thank you. I'm going to write it down. Mind and Now. Okay, next I want to do some saturation stuff. I feel like there's still too many colors for my liking. So I'm going to bring down the purples because that window was a little bit distracting. And it's not really affecting too much else, maybe just the clock a little bit. Is Dan your boyfriend, husband? Yes, he is my boyfriend. What time? It's 4:14 p.m. in Australia. Okay, I'm going to bring down the yellow saturation and I'm going to bring up the yellow luminance to make it brighter, and then orange as well. Okay, maybe we should go for like a more blue kind of tone. Can you edit my photo if I submit to you? Unfortunately, submissions are closed at the moment, but we are going to do another live stream on Saturday. So I will probably open the submissions on Friday night. So yeah. If you keep an eye out on my Instagram stories and my Twitter, which my user is juliatrottiedit on both of them, you'll be able to see when you can submit your photos and how. Okay, I feel like I need an adjustment brush on the newspapers maybe. I feel like they're still a bit too dark, these ones here. Yeah, I like that. And then I also want an adjustment brush on the footpath because I want to bring down the exposure. Highlights and saturation too. Okay. Whoa, sorry, that was really loud. Here is the, this photo is by Pete the Pan on Instagram, and here is the original, and here is my edited. So the next photo we're going to do is number 308. Ooh, second last one. And this photo is by Josh Prado. This is a cute portrait. Do you follow Jessica Kobasi? You guys both have similar styles. Yeah, I love her work. I love her videos as well. I feel like she's always got really like creative ideas. So yeah, it's nice. Oh, I was going to talk about Animal Crossing again. She did a photo shoot in Animal Crossing, which again, it's like, what a creative idea for a video. Are your parents from Poland? No, my parents are from Argentina, but Dan's parents are from Poland. I'm going to bring the white point down for this one. When you were little, did you always want to be a photographer? No, I had no idea what I wanted to do growing up, to be honest. I didn't know until I finished high school, and even then, like, photography was just something that I really enjoyed. I didn't know that you could make money off photography. But yeah, the more I started doing photography and posting my work online, some photographers from Sydney kind of like reached out to me and were asking, like, I don't know, I sort of like started finding a community. Yeah, so that's when I realized, I was like, yeah, I really want to do photography. You suggest on best curve, blue and red curve. I feel like my favorite tone curve to use in order, my favorite is blue, the next favorite is green, and the least favorite is red. Just because I feel like the red and green curve sometimes really only suits very specific images. Whereas the blue curve, I feel like you could use it for almost any image and you could make a photo look good with just the blue curve. But yeah, I like to use the red curve when I want to make things more blue. And I like to use the green curve when I want to make things more red, like to appear warmer. I am definitely going like vintage style for this photo. So I'm going to go for purple shadows. And yeah, this will be like a really soft kind of pastel edit. I really like that. Do you follow Brandon Wolfel? Super fan of his style. Yes, I do. Yeah, his style is like incredible. Okay, I like these. So this photo is by Josh Prado, and this is the original, and this is the after. I hope you like it. Okay, I think I'm going to edit just a couple more photos and then we're going to end the live stream. But the next live stream will be on Saturday. It will either be the same time as now or earlier in the morning for Sydney time. I don't know where I was going with that. I do. Thank you so much, Julia. Yay! That's good. But I'm like losing my voice. I don't know how much more I can talk. JT money, keep putting in work. Well, now that we don't have any weddings, I have so much more time for like YouTube, so we may as well live stream. How would you advise someone to go from hobby photographer to start earning money doing jobs? I'm slowly building up my portfolio and I feel like I have a variety of good shots. It's a weird one. I feel like it's just kind of like a gradual process. So at first I started just by, I'm going to edit a photo while I explain. Can you edit number 225, please? I'd appreciate it. Yeah, so when I first started, I did a lot of test shoots that were unpaid for everyone involved. And then it's kind of like 225. Yes. This photo is by Falcon_photography on Instagram. So this one, I feel like because of the lighting looks quite high contrast. So I'm going to go the opposite and give this photo like a film vintage look. When will you be starting your TikTok account? I have a TikTok account if you guys want to go and follow it, but I don't know. I haven't gotten into it. Do you guys like TikTok? Do you think it's worth me uploading stuff, because my makeup artist films a lot of behind the scenes while we're doing photo shoots, so I could definitely upload those clips with like the final photo or like a before and after or something. It's just I don't know if it's worth my time, but I guess I do have extra time now, so maybe like I should. What was I talking about? Okay, yeah. So I was doing test shoots that were unpaid, and then it's like the more I posted my work, the more people I worked with and interacted with and told them like I'm a portrait photographer, I'm a wedding photographer. It's like it slowly starts to snowball, because word of mouth is a really powerful tool when you're a small business like a photographer. Yeah, so that's it. But yeah, I feel like posting your work online is super important, and being specific about the style and the type of photography that you do, so people know that, yeah, you're like, if they think, like if they're talking to someone and they're like, oh, I'm looking for a photographer for my kid's birthday, and you had met that person a couple of weeks ago and you're like, oh, I love shooting events and weddings, that's like my thing and that's what I want to do. That person might be like, oh, Brendan, or whatever your name is, said he was an event photographer, you should get in contact with him. So like that kind of word of mouth, if that makes sense. Okay, I need to warm this image up a little and add some pinks to the tint. Please make photo editing contests like, oh, your thing disappeared. Like other YouTubers do. Yeah, I'm planning on doing that. I'm going to announce the winners of the Pixel 4 giveaway straight after this stream. And then once that's all done, I wanted to do a contest where I upload a couple of different of my photos and you guys edit them. And then I think the winner will get like a voucher to my digital film actions shop for some of my Lightroom presets or Photoshop actions, or whatever it is you prefer to edit with. And I feel like I could also make a video showing, like sharing all your edits too, because I feel like we would have so many different styles to look at. It would be really cool. Okay, and then I think I need a warmer highlights because it's looking a little bit greenish. And then like a blue or purple because it's like slightly warmer but cool. Alright, so here is the this photo is by Falcon_photography on Instagram. Here is the original and here is my edit. Going for a film vintage vibe. How will we find out the winners? Well, I'm going to reply to the 6 comments. So like the 1 Pixel 4 phone winner and then the 5 code winners. I'm going to comment back onto your comment. And then from there, we'll grab your email address or your Instagram handle. Yeah. Once that's all been confirmed, I'll post on my Instagram stories once the winners have been like finalized. So you guys all know that it's over. But yeah, there was so many comments to read through and like so many creative entries. It was really nice getting to see all of them. Would you do a photography workshop in Brisbane? Yeah, that's actually something I really want to work on this year, is planning out workshops. But because of the pandemic, I think we are going to plan some online workshops instead. I have a lot of cool ideas that I want to bring to life. And like, yeah, now that we've got time because we're home all the time, I will be able to do that. Okay, I'm going to edit photo 121, photographer Adrian from Paraguay. And then I think I'm going to call it a day. It's already called that. But yeah, so all the submissions that are left in here that we haven't gotten around to yet, these will be here all on Saturday. So if you guys want to join in that live stream on Saturday, we can continue editing some of these photos. I think it would be cool if you live stream portfolio critique next. Yeah, I would really love to do that. This photo is by Adrian Medina on the Instagrams. Okay, I'm going to sharpen this photo first of all. I think maybe we'll do one more editing live stream, and then the one after that can be the portfolio / Instagram critique. I reckon that'd be so fun. How many photos are there? There are 309 photos. Every time we edit photos at the end of the stream, I get rid of them all from the Lightroom catalog. So I would say we've had like maybe 420 total photos. Last stream we managed to get through a lot of edits. Okay, this one I want it to still be quite like high contrast. Thanks for editing my picture. I hope you liked it. Okay, I'm also gonna straighten up the image too. But I really like this this shot. The angle is really cool, and I really like how her hair tie matches her shirt with the yellow. We're not doing any Photoshop stuff right now, but once I finish editing this in Lightroom, what I would personally do if this was my photo is open it in Photoshop and apply a blank color, a blank layer, and set it to the blend mode color, and then pick the color from the shirt and use the brush tool to paint over the hair tie to just make it match exactly. I feel like that would just, yeah, look really cool. Have a good night, Julia. It's truly appreciated the time you spend with us. Thank you guys for joining in and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm glad you liked the live stream. Oh, I like that kind of really bright blue color. One pick, edit only basic settings and HSL color. Don't use tone curve. One demo that type. Okay, that sounds kind of fun. So I'll do one more photo after this one. So what is it? Basic and HSL only. Okay. I'm going to saturate the yellow a little bit. And can we change just the color of the hair tie? No, it still affects the shirt. Meh. I was hoping we could match it just in Lightroom without opening up Photoshop. 1:30 a.m. in Oklahoma. Okay, I really like that blue highlight color. So we kind of got that from the curve, but I just want to do a little bit more. And then shadows, I'm definitely going to go for yellow to match with the shirt. Okay. So this photo is by... I'm always making last minute changes. This photo is by Adrian Medina on Instagram, and here is the original photo and here is the edited. Okay, so I'm going to do one more where I'm only going to use the basic sliders and the HSL. Did you shoot in New Zealand already? Yeah, a few years ago I flew down to Wanaka to do a photo shoot for an online bridal magazine about traveling brides. And we went to Queenstown and Wanaka and Mount Aspiring National Park and a couple of different places to do photo shoots around there, and it was incredible. So like, yeah, I really want to go back. Okay, I'm going to do number 242. You're going to get Mauricio. You're going to have just the basic sliders and HSL. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we can do something. Two, 4, 2. Oh, thank gosh, it's like a colorful image. Okay, this photo is by Mauricio JCM8 on Instagram. And I'm going to crop. Surely I can crop, right? Just to straighten it. And then I don't know if we can put you a little more in the center. Okay, I think just there. Okay, so I'm going to start by bringing up the shadows and bringing down the blacks for some contrast. And then saving the highlights a little too and bringing the white point down slightly. Thank you for editing my photo and doing the live stream. Really enjoyed it. Yay, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your photo too. And I'm going to bring up the white balance. Okay, what do we want to do with this? Not allowed to use the tone curve for this one, so I wonder if we can change the color of the water a little. Okay, I definitely like the yellows turned down because then you see more of the pink in the building. It makes the reflection stand out a little more. I'm also going to bring the blue saturation down just to get rid of that cold tint. I would normally get rid of that with the blue curve, but since we can't use the tone curve, I'm just going to use blue saturation. I'm also going to desaturate yellows slightly and greens too, and bring up the orange and red saturation. Hey Jules, will you be considering a behind the scenes on your next wedding shoot? That would be quite a treat. Yeah, I've thought about that. I know there's some videos where people attach like, you know, a GoPro or equivalent camera to their camera, and it's just kind of like a raw viewing of the wedding. But that's definitely a conversation I would have to have with a bride to make sure that they're all okay with it. But that would be really fun to do. Okay, I think we need a little more warmth again. Then I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to use a graduated filter just on the bottom half of the photo, just to bring down the exposure a little bit more. And the white point. Will you add on the catalog pictures uploaded after the stream started? Yes. Yeah, so next time before I start the stream, I'll download all the photos that you guys submitted today that were after the cutoff time. So yeah, you don't have to submit again. I will download everything. Okay, I feel like I've done everything I could do. Here is the before and after, editing a photo with only the basic slider and HSL. So here is the original and here is the after. So I'm just going to quickly add a tone curve now. I've completed the challenge. Yeah, I wanted a tone curve for this one, and I think the blue curve would really help this one too, just because it's a little bit colder. So it'll just kind of warm up the photo overall. Okay, so if I just show you before and after of the tone curve, just adds like that little extra something to the photo, which I really like. I also feel like it's still a little bit crookedish. Okay, that's our last photo. I'm gonna head off now. I have to go to the shops. I need to do grocery shopping because we have no food left in the house and I'm a little bit scared. Thank you, Julia, for editing my photo. I appreciate it a lot. Love your work and content. Thank you. And thank you so much for sending your photo so I could edit it. Can you tell us about your streaming setup? I've got a monitor here, and then I have the camera there, and then I have my computer there, and then I've got a softbox there, and then I have a little light over there just to fill in some light. So I've got the window light on this side, the softbox in front of me, and some extra fill light to the left, if that makes sense. You should do a vlog grocery shopping. In Australia, all the pasta and rice aisles are empty. Bye, Kung. It was cool to see you work. I'm glad you guys like this. I feel like this is really fun to do, and I get to like hang out with you and just chat and answer questions and stuff. Vlog your grocery shopping to show what it's like right now in Australia. Maybe I can add some stuff to my Instagram stories so you guys can see. When I edit a picture on my computer, they will look way different on phones. Yeah, I feel like the best rule of thumb is to have one screen or your main screen that you've calibrated. And then when you edit, you know it looks correct on that. And then basically when it's viewed on any other screen, it's kind of out of your control. But you know that you've edited it to a calibrated screen so the colors are correct. If that makes sense, because yeah, I do know when you share it to different screens and to like a TV or to your phone, it can shift a little bit. Software for streaming, I'm using OBS. Oh, do we have the Elgato cam link? Dan sets up all the live streaming stuff. Has Dan gone to sleep? He said, yeah, we've got the Elgato. I wish I did portraits that you can do on live edit, but I do boudoir, so that's not really your genre of photography. Yeah, I'm a little bit iffy. There were some photos in that style. Did the camera die? Or am I still there? Where is my cat? Evie's sleeping. All right, guys, I think the camera's died. You can't see me anymore, but I just want to say thank you so much for joining in on the stream and hanging out with me and sending me in your photos. If I didn't have time to edit it today, we're going to do another live stream on Saturday so we can get around to the rest of the photos that are in this catalog. Yeah, my camera died. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.